Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm MrTieDye. So today I've had, well not today, over the last year or so I've had a few different requests for the Alcoholics Anonymous symbol, which is a circle with the triangle in it, where the triangle touches the corners, the edges of the circle. So that's what we're going to learn how to fold up today. So I'm starting with a t-shirt that's been soaked in soda ash. It's been spun out so it's just barely damp, and then I've centered it by tucking one sleeve in the other, or folding it in half. I tuck one sleeve in the other so both sleeves are together. I do have a video on centering a T. I will put a link to that down in the bottom, because I'm going to make this design just on the front. So I'm going to pick that up, flip the back to the back out of my way, and then I'm just going to make sure that the t-shirt's all nice and flat here where I'm going to be working. I don't want any creases in there. And then the next thing, you're going to need either a triangle square that's got a 30-degree angle on it, or you'll need a protractor so you can mark that. I have a triangle square, so I'm just going to use that. This is the easiest thing for marking this design out. What you're going to want to do is figure out just how far down you want it from the collar. I usually go a few inches. So let's scoot that so you can see. Okay, yeah, so here's my collar here, my hem. So I'm going to go 3 fingers down from the hem there. So that's where I'm putting the top of my triangle. Let's scoot that down. Maybe I'll go 4 fingers. We're going to go up just a little bit higher. And then I'm just going to make a line down as far, and I'm just going to go however wide I want the design to be. So I'm going to go down to about there, because here's my arm hole here, the hem for it. So I want to have a little bit of space, because the circle is going to extend out just a little bit here. So I don't want the circle to extend out past onto the sleeve or the back of the t-shirt. So I'm going to go to about right there. And then the nice thing about this triangle is you can just slide this down. I'm just lining this edge up with the edge of the t-shirt right here. So that's what I did to put my initial mark on. And now I'm just sliding it over until wherever I stop with that line is lined up with my 90-degree corner here. The main thing though is just making sure that your edge is lined up nice and flat against over here. And once you have that lined up, then you can draw a 90-degree line that comes down. And there's the 2 lines that you need to draw for now. Like I say, if you were going to do the protractor, you would just line up wherever you want. And I usually would put a dot on the t-shirt. So I put my protractor down and then just line up 30 degrees. You can start your line, get a straight edge, draw it out as far as you want, and then you still have to have this 90-degree corner. So you'll need to find something. If need be, you can even put just a piece of paper, because it's got a nice 90-degree corner on it, and you just line up from wherever you stopped up here. Like I say, I could have extended down all the way down to here, stopped up here. Wherever you stop, you'll draw your 90-degree corner down. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is fold this over. So I'm just going to put this point onto that point there, and just line, so I'm basically just folding this line over halfway, or whatever that is. So I'm just lining that up. And once you have that lined up, then I'm going to smooth this out. Make sure that those 2 points are lined up exactly. And now I'm going to grab this little point that I just made here, and then this point where the 2 points are together. So I'm going to pick this up so I can pick up all of the layers under there. And pick up right there, and I'm going to pick this up and fold that over. And then the main thing is just lining your edges back up again. So now here are these are the points of my triangle up here. And this here should be nice and lined up on this flat side here. Okay, now the next thing, we need to put the circle in. So the circle is best done easiest done for me by tying the little slip knot in your string, attaching that to a washable marker, and this washable marker happens to be Crazy Art. That's a nice one. The other the other marker I use is a Crayola, and I usually find them just like at Bimart, or you can find them on Amazon. Anyways, so a nice washable marker is handy. And then I'm going to put my pin out here. This here's the points of my triangles out here. This is the long edge. So there's a short edge here and a long edge. So you want to go out to the long edge and put your marker down right at the very end of the point there, and then stretch your string down, and I'm just pinching it under my fingernail right here, and now I'm just going to hold that nice and tight and hold my string out tight, and then I can mark my circle. So there's my circle. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep that little slip knot in there, that little loop. We'll extend that open, just give me a little bit more space. We're going to use that here in a minute. So put the washable marker away. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold right along this straight line here. I'm just going to do little accordion folds. They're maybe a half inch, maybe a little bit less than a half inch. Really depends on how big your design is. If it's really big, then you can go bigger. You know, if you're doing a tapestry, you could do a bigger accordion fold, but since we got such a little one here, the main thing, I'm reaching under here just to make sure that I have all of the layers of the t-shirt gathered up. I don't want to miss a layer, or your design is going to be wonky. Okay, so now once I have that tied up, I'm going to put this knot on. So this is that little slip knot I saved. I'm going to slide this over and tighten it down. That way that'll hold that in place for me. Now just get the string back out of your way and make sure that, once again, that all your layers, so I'm checking up here, this was the collar and the other fold here, I'm making sure that those are nice and flat, and then I'm going to smooth out everything underneath my line here and make sure over here that I have my two folds still lined up together. So you want to just make sure that everything is kind of flattened back out again, so that you have just your same layers in there. And then you're going to do the same accordion folds over here. And like I say, I'll reach underneath the t-shirt over here just to make sure that I have all of my layers. You don't want to miss a layer within your accordion folds. And then I just fold, just trying to make sure that I keep these lines as straight as possible here on the top. And then as you get closer to here, you want to make sure that you don't pull too hard on this, or you're going to pull the folds out of this here. Okay, sorry about that, I'm back. Okay, so we got to finish folding this up. So and now I still have my line tied over here. So what I'm going to do is just wrap this around a little bit. Let's flip this around. So I'll get that wrapped around over there to hold the circle in place, and then we're going to wrap this back around the triangle. And then you can do whatever. You can scrunch up the triangle if you want to. So yeah, I think I'll do a little bit of a scrunch and tie that off. Or you can just leave it pleated. It doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of tying that up just a little bit there. Okay, so there is the triangle part and the circle part here. So for the rest of the tee here, I'm just going to scrunch this up. Although at this point you could put a spine up the back, and I do have a video for the spine because the back is separated out here. But I'm just going to do a scrunch on this. So I got my armholes together here. And then the main thing is when you're getting this all nice and flat is make sure you don't want to pull any of your creases out of this folds here. So I'm opening this up a little bit here and then flattening it back down just to make sure that I'm not pulling anything out. You want to mind your folds here. Get some gloves on and we'll get some dye splashed on this. Okay, it's time to put some dye on this. So what I'm going to start with is my thick black dye, and I'm going to dye on the lines here. So I'm going to lay some of that down, and then I'm going to use my cuticle pusher to push it in. And the main thing, I probably should have tried to get this a little bit closer together over here on the side, but your point of your triangle needs to come all the way up and touch your circle here. So when you're dyeing, you want to make sure that that connection gets made in there. So I'm just putting just a little bit of extra dye up there along that edge, and then I'll go along the circle here. So the closer that you can tie that together there is the less you're gonna have to try to extend that triangle up. So I hope that makes sense. So, and I went ahead and drew the same lines on the back side here. Now the next thing is we have the triangle, and then this here is the circle around the triangle over here. So I'm going to use just two different shades. You can color it however you like to, but I have a light turquoise that I've mixed up and then a darker turquoise. So the triangle, I'm just going to dye it in a lighter color. And that's just how I have chosen to do it. No specific reason, so you can pick whatever colors you like. But having a light color and a dark color is just going to help make that triangle stand out a little bit. And then the rest of the tee I'm going to dye in two shades of green. So I got my bright green, and this is one that I mix up. I do 3 parts lemon yellow and 1 part turquoise, and you can either pour in the already mixed dye, or if you want to just mix your dye that way, and that's what I do. So I'll use the turquoise powder and the lemon yellow powder to make my bright green dye. And then you can adjust by adding more lemon color, then you're going to get an even brighter limey green, and if you add more turquoise to it, then you're going to get a darker green. So you can kind of adjust that however you like it. Okay, now I'm going to use a darker green. This is emerald green from Dharma, and I'm just going to put a light coat over top here. Here's my Alcoholics Anonymous symbol. So I'm going to let this batch for 48 hours and then I'll have the results for you guys here in about 2 seconds. Thank you for watching. Okay, here we go. There's the Alcoholics Anonymous symbol. So we'll get this washed and the results will be posted at the end of the video. Thank you for watching.